We'll get started here in just a second, everybody. We've had a great week. Chat roll is enabled for you. Just making sure our live stream's up and rock and rolling. Hit record. Sorry, guys, got a little bit tickle in my throat here on this Thursday. There we go. All right. All righty then. Good stuff. All right. Well, hey, Don. Hey, everybody. Rock and roll here. Yeah. All righty, everybody. Hey, welcome to week 2 of our 4-week note coaching program that dovetails up with our workshop attendees for those that attended the March Note Buying for Dummies workshop. This is kind of your implementation, helping you put more into play, getting the ball rolling, a constant reminder or a good kick in the ass, depends on how you want to take it, to help you start taking some action. Because I guess, we all have different things that are going on. And this has definitely been one of those weeks where things have definitely popped up that you don't expect. And you just roll with the punches sometimes, and you make the best that you can. You turn lemons into lemonade and realize that, hey, you're just happy you're alive, happy you're here, happy you got your health. And sometimes, hey, things need to go in the back burner. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, no matter the distractions of life, because we all know it, we all have things thrown in life. You know what I mean? Sickness, health, issues, deals that don't go the right way, sudden surprises out of the blue. The most important thing, obviously, is your health and your family. That comes first. But best thing I can tell you here is don't let little things sidetrack you from the long-term game. Note investing, real estate investing is always a long-term play, right, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to be around for a long time. So make sure you take care of the important things in your life. Obviously, we want you here. You want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. It's no good if you're burning both ends of the candles and can enjoy yourself. It's also important if your family's not around to make sure that, hey, they're around and you tell them you love them and be thankful for there for you. So today's call is we're going to do a little recap of what we discussed last week, and then we'll dive into really the taking action and going forward. We talked a little bit about putting some things in place, your ducks, if you want to say your proverbial quackers, in place. I talked about that last week, but I didn't say why I'm big on. And I'm a big believer that you don't have to wait till everything's in place to take action. Now, some people are like that, and that's A-okay. That's not how I roll. I'm the whole let me jump out of an airplane and build my parachute on the way down kind of way. And I know not everybody operates that way as the proverbial gunslinger, right? It makes me think of when I was a kid growing up in Ingleside, Texas. You remember when the Dallas Cowboys were big? You had the posters, and as a kid, the Cowboys were good. Finally, in my high school years, they were actually pretty good, which was exciting. So I had a picture of Emmitt Smith catch 22, poster of him running, and then I had the Troy Aikman gunslinger photo where he's like the Western guy in the middle of the old West town with that jacket on and a pair of gun belts, kind of aspect of it. And that always makes me think about being a little bit of a gunslinger. I would say Troy Aikman wasn't as much of a gunslinger as like Brett Favre was, as we know, the proverbial riverboat gambler. But he definitely had a cannon. And, I had a chance to meet Troy one time on a late night in Chicago after a game. He was out there. I don't think you remember me. Him and the Buck were a little imbibed in a little case, but that's okay. But what am I getting at? Is not everything's always going to be perfect. You have to learn to adapt and overcome, especially as a real estate investor. There's always going to be things that happen. That's just called life. And if you're not opposed to a little controlled chaos, then it might not be for you, because there's always things that are going to happen. And like I said, don't let that stop you from failing forward, as I guess you could say, is, you're going to learn more from your mistakes than you ever learn from your victories. And when mistakes happen, you learn from it and you keep moving forward. Doesn't make you a bad person. You just keep moving forward. That's all we can. So anyway, let's get into the implementation thing. If you're watching this live on YouTube or watching the replay, I don't care either way, make sure you comment there so we know that you're paying attention. Feel free to ask questions. We'll try to make sure and monitor those and answer those questions. Same thing if you're on Zoom. Ask questions away. Please keep them relevant to where we're at the end. If you have any more questions that I haven't discussed, feel free. Now, on this week, I want you to hang around a little bit. If you want to come on and share who you are, what you're doing, and what your focus is, I'm glad to bring you on. If you've got a webcam, we'll share your webcam and invite you on as a panelist so you can share what you're doing and going from there. If you have a question you want to ask me live via that way, you can. We're going to throw it up to our coaching students and our WC Inc members first, and then anybody else out beyond that can jump on there. But hang around, gives you a chance to network a little bit. And if you are watching this on the YouTube, the restream, don't worry about it. You can always go to talkwithscottcarson.com. That's my main link, talkwithscottcarson.com. Schedule a call with me, and I'm glad to help answer any questions you have along the way. Now, this training ducktails up with our 3-day virtual note buying workshop. So we're not going through like the nuts and bolts of note investing or breaking down an asset or two. This last Monday night, we did host on Note Night in America. I went through 349 assets and narrowed it down to the final 99 that I thought were worthwhile, or the final 45 that were worthwhile. So if you're curious about that, go on over to our YouTube channel at weclosenotes.tv. Make sure you subscribe to that. And you can check out the 300 notes breakdown. Most of the stuff is performing. But anyway, let's get into tonight. So this is week 2. Week 1, we had a little bit of a recap of some of the things you need to be doing to get things rocking and rolling. As I said, get kind of your ducks in place. And we'll go there. We're always excited to have you. Like I said, we've gone through a lot. We all got coaches. I have coaches for business, marketing, podcasting, all sorts of good stuff. And there are core habits that we have found from successful note investors over the years. And it really falls in line with some of the basic stuff that we teach that maybe you're not taught in the business world because you have a specific job or thing that you're doing. You're not a marketer. You know, you don't send out email blasts to your database. You don't have an LLC. There's some things you need to have in place. So the best thing we want to do is, while you're trying to figure out where you're wanting to go, maybe what your long-term goals are, we want to head you off in the right direction and towards success. So last week we discussed kind of, what's your goals? Ultimately, what's your why that you're trying to work for? Is it basically making more money, retiring your spouse, retiring your kids, retiring your parents, living higher on the hog? You know what I mean? We discussed and calculated your numbers, number of deals you need to close on, number of offers you need to make on. We actually did a podcast episode on this. Don't give up on retirement. If you want to check that out in the Note Closer Show, that's also on our YouTube channel. It was really good, talking about how if you USA Today came out with an article that talked about how they said, like, most people think they need to have like 1.5 to 1.6 million in retirement savings to be able to retire. Obviously, depending on your age, is a little bit different. The uber wealthy think they need 4 million. And we went back and broke those numbers down, re-engineered them depending on what age group you're in. Generation X, baby boomers, millennials, Generation Z. We talked about kind of what you need to do. That's a great article or great video to go and check out or listen to on the podcast. We also talked a little bit about picking a few states. Don't try to eat the whole elephant of the United States in one bite. Pick it off one bite at a time. We talked about pick out a couple states, look at the bigger markets, and that's what you kind of start focusing on, getting to know those states, those markets, foreclosure timeframes, find realtors, that kind of stuff. We also talked a little bit about how to grow your audience, and then social stuff is important to have. Like we talked about the importance of LinkedIn. We talked about Octopus CRM is a great way to help you grow that. We also discussed kind of your digital assets, things you need to be put in place, your LLC, biz cards, websites, LinkedIn profiles. So I'd love for you guys to share, for those that are here, what's 1 or 2 things that you tweaked or worked on implementing in the last 6-7 days? Anybody want to share something? I know, John, when we talked a little bit this afternoon, you mentioned, hey, you worked on your pitch deck, which is great, and some other things while you're working through some good stuff, which is great. The pitch deck, yeah, that's good. You took our pitch deck from the 3-day workshop and kind of tweaked it for yourself. That's great. Updated. That's phenomenal. Good stuff. Don, is there anything that you worked on this week? Jerry, Serby, anybody that's watching live on the YouTube channel? We got a few folks on there. Anything that you guys worked on this past week? Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the things we discussed last week, like your executive summary, your biz card, your website, your pitch deck, these are things you're obviously going to be doing over and over and using over and over again. Okay, good. So Don says, I finished up my marketing pieces for mailings. Awesome. Is this your marketing pieces, like your mail merges and postcards to self-directed IRA investors, Don? Postcards for investors. It is awesome. All right, that's great to see. John also said he created a list of potential capital investors. Awesome. People that you have relationships. That's great. That's good. That's what we love to see, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, there's nothing worse than getting up here and talking and nobody taking action. Okay. That's the thing. And that's why you two guys that have commented so far your guys are successful in what you're doing. You're taking action and you've been successful in your life because you're go-getters. You don't wait around to the last minute. You're not procrastinators. You're making things happen. So good. Kudos for you. If you're not in a spot to talk, don't worry about it. Doesn't mean you're a loser. Here's the thing. If you're joining us for the first time, guess what? Go back and watch that replay. Go back and start taking action. The things we talked about aren't too difficult. You just need to start carving out a little time each day to get momentum going. We're not talking another 40-hour week job. We're talking an hour to 2 hours a day. A little bit of time each day really does give you a lot of momentum, and then you can use that tailwind to push you further along than those that aren't doing anything. Okay. John says also I created a marketing budget with a list of resources from training, checked out VA options, good stuff. Yeah, we mentioned earlier we like Riva Global. If you want an email introduction to them, I'm glad to make an email introduction to them for you, John. I think I may have already done that, but they're really good and phenomenal out there. So anyway, let's move on here. So let's talk about LinkedIn ones. Make sure this is an important thing. This is a quick recap. Make sure your LinkedIn profile is complete. And by complete, you've got a smiling photo. You've got a background image of some sort. You have turned on, your LinkedIn has a creator mode. Go ahead and turn that on. There's a little button to turn on so people can recognize you. You can use Canva to create a background image. What I always say is, like, if you've got an LLC you're using or something, or put something in real estate behind you, okay? So, the reason you want creator mode on is it will also show your photo to people that aren't connections. And that's one of the most important things. As you start reaching out to special asset managers or investors, people can go to LinkedIn to see who you are. You want to put a good smiling photo of you smiling, not, ooh, woe is me. You also don't want to look like a gangster, or don't want to look like, a lady on the corner. Not that any ladies do, but you get what I'm saying. Get rid of that gold boa and look professional. All right. You need a website. Go ahead and put your website on there. A way for people to connect with you. If you don't have a website, go get you a Calendly link so people can book time on your calendar. One of the most important things that people fail to realize and use with LinkedIn is the about you. Write that up. Turn that into an executive summary. Talk about what you're doing, what your focus is, what your interest is. That's one of the great things that people search in is when you type in like what you're searching for are terms, it looks at executive summaries. Okay. Best way for people to connect with you. Okay. And then also start looking at following people in the real estate no business. Easy thing is you should probably go follow this crazy guy in Austin, Texas, Scott Carson. If you connect with him, you now will instantly have about 30,000 second degree connections. And connect with me, follow me, stuff like that. I'm not here to boost. I mean, my LinkedIn's about backed up, but it's maxed out. But you guys have the opportunity to connect with a lot of people, and it's easier to connect with a second degree connection than a third degree connection. Okay. Start connecting with other people, and I highly recommend using Octopus CRM and make it an automation thing where you can connect with 10, 20 people a day or up to 100 people a day, depending on your LinkedIn level. And you can have the free version. It works fine. When you start off, try to eliminate a lot of these extra costs until you're up rocking and rolling. Okay. But start looking at hashtags. You can follow specific terms like hashtag real estate investing, hashtag note investing. Those are two of the big keys that you can start connecting with others that are sharing content and then kind of drafting off of their audience, connecting with people that are commenting on their posts. And this doesn't take a lot of time. I mean, I try to go and comment on 5 to 10 different people's posts per day if I have time. I try to do it at least once, twice a week, just for the heck of it. And you'll be surprised too. I do check out your profiles. If you send me a connection request, I'm going to go check out your profile. And if I know who you are, I might simply say, hey, go post this or go tweet this to help you, not be derogatory in fashion. Just I'm trying to help you overcome and avoid making simple mistakes. Now, start growing your audience. If you don't have any experience, you can go post one real estate article per day. DS News, HousingWire.com. We talked about that briefly last week. The MBA also has great websites. I got a great article today. It was yesterday or the day before from USA Today, or it was mortgage. NBA.com or Hazimar, one of the two, came to me. Is about the poverty levels, the 10 worst states for poverty and the 10 best states for the less poverty. It did really good already. I mean, I uploaded a short video and then also created a longer podcast episode about it as well too, and it's already up and rock and rolling. And like I say, any real estate articles of any sort. Now, here's the thing: don't if somebody posts something, don't just go and reshare the article and don't say anything. Take the link, write a little comment or two sentences about what you think about the article, and then post it yourself. Don't reshare it. Resharing does not help you build an audience. Posting content and then commenting on about it too, not just posting, but commenting about the article is one of the most important things you can do. And like I said, 10 posts per day, comment, people you follow, other note investors, other articles. That's a great thing. Now, what else do I need? This kind of goes back into the ducks aspect of it, the quackers, okay? You need an LLC that is separate from your other activities. Now, if you're a foreign investor outside the United States, you can get an LLC. I'm not an accountant or a CPA, so I highly recommend that you reach out to Laughlin and Associates, laughlinusa.com. Talk to them about setting up an LLC here in the United States. That'll help you buy assets and buy notes because you're not going to buy in your own name. That's a big thing. Do not do that. If you have an IRA, yes, you can use your self-directed IRA to buy, but I still wouldn't have your name sitting out there because you're going to have some Yahoo, like that guy, Scott Carson, is probably going to find your name if you bought a property and start mailing you postcards or yellow letters or letters like that. Hey, do you want to fund a deal? $500 to start a self-directed IRA here in the United States. If you're not here, obviously you can't do it, but there's other things. You need a website, LinkedIn profile to start, but get you a website, lead pages. If you've got a CRM like Keep or even Active Rain, I believe they will throw in lead pages so you can create a one-page landing page for people to come to you. You do need to go out and get a calendar link, especially if you've got a full-time job and you start marketing to IRA investors or targeting asset managers. You want to give them a place to go to schedule a time that works best for your schedule, okay? Buffer.com is basically, it's a great social media posting account where you can schedule things ahead of time, spend some time on Saturday, Sunday, coming up with articles, looking at some stuff and schedule them to go out where you ain't got to be present to do it. It's automatically done for you automatically. And like, I'm a big fan of canva.com. You do not have to be the greatest person in Photoshop, okay, or Adobe Acrobat. Canva makes it really easy. If you ever like our images or thumbnails or any of the things that we create, 99.9% of the time it's created in Canva, either with our VA, myself, or somebody very simply to do it, to drag and drop to make it easy to use. It looks really, really professional, okay? And then you need to start using a CRM of some sort or an email service provider. We talked about Keep as our preferred vendor. MailChimp is okay. I wouldn't use Constant Contact or iContact. They're just horrible. They do not like real estate investors, and they will shut you down, and you don't want that, okay? And then you needed to start developing your assets. We talked about this before, your executive summary, your logo, what your branding colors. Here's the thing. If you look at politics and golfing, probably two of the easiest things for marketing. If you think about politics, what color tie do most of the candidates wear? They either wear a blue or a red tie, right? Blue stands for trustworthy, red stands for power. If you think about green, think about some of the most famous logos out there, like American Express. What's their logo color? Green, right? Starbucks, green. We close notes, or the note closers show green, right? We want people thinking of money, okay? So that's something like blue, orange, trustworthy. If you're in a specific geographic area, maybe you look at the professional sports teams, the franchises in your area, okay, that come out to you. Like you think of New York Rangers, the hockey team, red, white, and blue. Texas Rangers, red, white, and blue, right? Houston Astros, blue and then orange. The Broncos, blue and orange. Probably the most awkward looking one might be the Baltimore Ravens with the purple and black. But that's okay. Start looking at that, come up with colors for your company. And you want to write up an executive summary, which is basically it's a one-page document with your smiling face on it. It talks about your business as a summary, what your business is, what you're focused on, and then a little about you and why you're such a badass. And everybody on here is a badass, okay? Biz cards, yes, creating biz cards. You can do that in Canva. You need to do it. Case studies of deals you've done, before, after photos, one-page flyers, other types of deals you're doing, something you can turn easily into like a picture. Don's working on some flyers, and so he's probably got some case studies or some previous deals he's done, and you can create a postcard that sends that out to people out there as well. And If you've been through the 3-day workshop, you know we've got provide some sample case studies that you guys can use, or other things too. If you need some more, let me know. Okay. Now, taking the next step in assets, you have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 21st century. It's actually 2024. Okay. You have to come into the 21st century. I know some of you are sitting back in the dark ages, like peeking over. Like, I don't want anybody to find me. I'm scared to death that somebody's going to find me, but I need to raise capital. I need to find deals, but I don't want anybody to find me. You got to embrace the journey, ladies and gentlemen. Embrace that it's the 21st century. And Scotty's, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain. All right. She's coming apart at the seams. You're going to be coming apart, and you're going to have a much harder time if you try to avoid doing this. Look, we're not one of those weekend rehab guys that you buy, you pick up in the front of Home Depot trying to cut corners on a rehab. Okay. I'm going to give the reason I'm telling you to do these things because these things are important. They're going to help you. When you build a house, you don't want to cut corners. I'm trying to help you build that investing house with a good foundation so that everything is solid and those walls don't start shaking in once they get above 6 inches. If the wind comes going or the big bad wolf comes and starts blowing and blowing, it doesn't blow your house down. Okay. So start creating some short videos. Talk about your journey as a real estate investor. What are you doing full time? You know, hey guys, this is Scott Carson. You may have known me as the mortgage banker, helping you refinance your house or find the perfect mortgage to save you money on that amazing asset. But maybe you didn't know that I've also been a very active real estate investor. One of the things I like focusing on is distressed real estate deals. People that are struggling to make their mortgage payments, or banks that are looking to sell debt off. Those are two things that are highly lucrative. We've been doing that for about 20 years. And I've done such and such deals or called Austin, Texas home for almost 20 years, although I do buy across the country. And if you're also interested in investing or getting started or an investor, I'd love to network with you. Something like that. You know what I mean? About you, about your company. The reason we talk about your executive summary is that is designed to help you kind of start putting that place in line. You do a video exactly about your executive summary. Past deals. I had Michelle Hill, who's a student of ours, reach out to me today. And she was on last week, and she does a great job. She's done over 100 notes. I'm like, Michelle, do a video on 100 of your note deals. Maybe you don't do them all, but do 10, 20. If you're looking for content, start sharing past case studies. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, investors don't care if you fixed or flipped a property, or you rehabbed it, or a wholesale there, you bought a note, or you whatever. Just show some experience. That's going to help you out with past deals or current deals. It helps you build rapport faster than anything else. It's not a requirement, but that will help you faster than anything else out there. Okay. All right, moving on. Email templates that'll come as you start creating stuff to send out to your warm market, your contacts, your asset manager list through your CRM. Contact list. If you've got a stack of business cards at home, we talked about this last week. Take those business cards and put them into Excel spreadsheet, and so you can start contacting people. That's still the number one way to market. Still the most effective way of marketing is emailing people. If you choose not to do that, don't call me up when you can't raise capital. I had a conversation with another guy today. He's like, "Am I have you put a list?" Oh, no, I haven't done that yet. And then stop doing. You're running around trying to do something, but you haven't even turned the engine. It's literally like having a car, but you're not going to put an engine in it. I'm just going to get in it and act like I'm driving. Okay. That only works for the quarter machine outside the dollar store for your little kitty. Okay. If you want to get in the engine and get an email campaign and start sending it out to people. Okay. But it doesn't need to be difficult. I mean, create your social media profiles are helpful. Yes, Facebook is a dumpster fire, but you still kind of need it. You enjoy some groups on there or LinkedIn groups, but start reaching out to people. But take your list of business cards and start adding them into a list that you can upload and start emailing up. It's something I started doing years ago. It's something I still do to this day. All right. I mean that. Okay. All right. That's a little bit of a recap from week 1. Let's dive into the nuts and bolts of today, of week 2, unless you guys have any questions about something that I discussed in week 1. If you want me to go back and discuss it, let me know now. Type in the chat roll. Or if you'd like to ask it, just raise your hand and say, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And I'll be glad to do that. Oh my God, I don't want to ask Scott a question. Okay, it's fine. I'm here to help. I tell you that everything that we just discussed works. That's why we have such successful students. Anybody's gone through our coaching program that takes action, those are the things they're focused on and working on. And those are things we've helped other people. We actually coach several realtors and several other types of investors that are not note investors over the years, and helping them put things together and get things rocking and rolling. So We know how to build a brand. No, I'm not a brand coach, but we do help people branding because they realize that we do put together a solid foundation when it comes to marketing. And when our competition says, you know how to, your students know how to close deals and you know how to market, that tells you all you need to know, right? All right, so week 2, let's get into the finding deals. Let's make some money, honey, because it all starts with finding a deal. You know, sending out letters to postcards and IRA investors are great, but you got to have something to get their beak wet, okay? And that's what Note Invest is all about. It's not all about talking about notes. We don't say we talk notes, we close notes, okay? We'll show you how to do it as well. But finding deals is what note investing is all about. Investors are looking for deals, not theory. This is one big thing I've had to argue with people about before. Because people have come in, or I've seen them at different conferences or workshops or seminars. I'm like, hey man, how have you come? Well, I got to go out and raise capital. I got to raise 2 to 4 million in private capital before I make a single offer. I'm like, that's putting the cart before the horse. Okay, you don't need to have $4 million in raise. You can raise 25, 50 to 100 grand pretty relatively easy, and then use that money to buy a deal or two. And that'll help you raise more capital because you got some experience. You don't need to have your own money to do this, okay? People are attracted to people taking action. This is why we talk about sharing the deals you're working on. I mean, a great example would be part of the reason we live stream and share us breaking down a tape of 345 assets is to get people interested in what we're doing. Coming to me with money. Hey, I saw that you're active. I'd like to talk about maybe investing with you, talk about putting some money to work, okay? Or learning how to do what you do. All right, well, great. We'll teach you the voodoo that we do, okay? But people, if they don't see you taking action, they're not going to know about you, okay? You've got to share what the heck you're doing. And as we all know, 80% of sales are made after the 5th contact. But now that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to realize that it takes time. Success isn't built overnight with one post or one email blast or one short video. It's consistency is key, okay? So if you're sending an email blast out and you only do it once a month, then you got to realize it's going to take you 6+ months or more. Well, would you rather raise capital in 6 months or raise capital in 6 weeks? I know it's a dumb question, but that's the truth question. Well, I want to be raising capital in 6 weeks than versus 6 months. And you can by doing some basic things. And everybody watching this, listening to this, whatever it is you're doing tonight, hearing me in your ears or seeing me with your eyeballs, everybody on here is capable of raising $1 million in the next 90 days. You've seen it done way too many times. And you can do this if you take action, start doing something. And you will have to follow up and follow up and follow up. Oh, I sent an email and nobody responded, so this shit doesn't work. Okay, yeah, it doesn't work because you didn't work it. Okay? I can't stress enough that it's a process. Follow up, follow up, follow up. If somebody doesn't answer you the first time, guess what? Pick up the phone and call them again. Send another email again. Why do they want to bother me? You're not bothering them. They forgot about you. You're not that important. 10 minutes after you talk to them last, guess what? They're on to something else. Okay? They're on to something else. Okay? Now you can almost automate the finding side of the note business. Okay? 2 things you can do. We'll get to that, but you can almost automate that either through email blasts that you set up or through your octopus that you can kind of set up and get rocking and rolling. Okay. But you have to know what to say. Okay. What are you looking for when you're reaching out to finding asset managers? And you're not going to come, don't be one of these people. I buy everything. I buy commercial, residential, small balance, big balance. No, you don't. Okay. Okay. It's always a sign of a joker broker or a wholesaler. I'll buy anything. No, you don't. What do you really buy? Okay. So here's the thing. When you're reaching out to asset managers, hey, are you the right person at your such and such bank? I'm looking for non-performing first liens on residential assets with values of 500K or more in most of the major markets. Not buying in every market, but in most of the major markets. Okay. I'm looking for performing notes where I can yield a double-digit return or 12% return or 10% return or greater. Okay. I'm looking for non-performing commercial loans on assets up to 5 million in value in most of the major markets. I always say we buy, smaller balance commercial stuff up to about a residential stuff up to $1 million, and then small balance commercial stuff from anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million. Anything greater than that, Wall Street's probably going to gobble up. So I'm going to work in my lanes. I'm going to work in my areas where we find the best crumbs. Okay. I'm looking for performing and non-performing notes on residential and commercial properties all across the country. That's not so bad. Okay. But those are some things. If you want to take a screenshot of that would be something to take a look at. People are asking what you're looking for. That's a big thing in most of the major markets. That doesn't mean New York, New Jersey. You probably may ask like, no, I don't buy there. But most of the major markets, and this is designed to help you kind of cover, okay? We'll look at anything from like $50,000 in value to $500,000. We will go up to $1 million in a few markets on the residential side, but we prefer that first-time homeowner aspect, okay? Biggest pocket of buyers, potentially, okay? Cool. Everybody making sense? Can I get some thumbs up or heck yeah in the comments on the chat roll? Two guys, those of you who are watching on YouTube, I am paying attention, so feel free to ask questions as I'm flipping back and forth from there on my own screen here. Okay, moving on. That's kind of what you're going to say to asset managers. Hey, I'm a note investor. I'm looking for non-performing notes on residential commercial properties. Okay, perfect. Thank you, John. All right, moving on. Okay. Now, some of the activities that you will want to start implementing, and we break these down like daily, weekly, monthly activities. So like jumping on LinkedIn and searching for special asset managers. If you go on there and type in special asset manager as a job title for people, you can connect with people daily on there. If you use Octopus CRM, great, it'll give you like 20 opportunity to connect with 20 to 100 people a week. Okay, sometimes it's 20 to 100 a day. Other times maybe it's 100 a week. But that's one of the best things, contacting asset managers, okay? And you're looking for individuals, not companies, but individuals. And if you use Octopus CRM, 21, 22 bucks a month will allow you to do that. And then there's also, don't forget to look for like special asset manager groups in the group setting there. Now, you can't automate the reach out through Octopus on the LinkedIn groups, but you can still go on there and look individually and start connecting with people. Hey, we're part of the same group. I'd love to talk with you, see if you have anything on your books that you're looking to get rid of, okay? As you start building a list of asset managers. Now, if you were in the workshop this past couple, in March, we talked about how you could build a list of asset managers by downloading a list of mortgage bankers from the Texas Savings and Loan Convention or Texas Savings and Loan Department. You can also download a list, create sign up for laneguide.com, LANE guide.com, and then log into that and do a search for REO and asset manager search. They kind of combine the two to get a list that way. And then, of course, as you're contacting people on LinkedIn, put them into your database. Put them into an email database, and then you're going to email them once to twice a month, okay? Also, look at the Mortgage Banking Association. We also talk about servicing companies. I forgot about that. But those are great ways for you to start building a list of contacts to start targeting out to. If you want to get real nitty gritty, you can go and start looking at the county clerk or the county recorder's office and start searching for assignment of mortgage transfers. That's something I wouldn't do daily. It might be something you do once a month. You might leverage the foreclosure lists that come out in your county and look there and maybe reverse engineer that, go in the back door for that, okay? But look at any type if you've seen any old tapes or websites, listing platforms that have notes for sale, doing a county record search to see who owned that note, who's on the assignment chain, that could be help. And then even reaching out to who, if somebody's selling a portfolio or selling notes, seeing who they bought it from and reaching out to who they bought it from to see if there's anything else available, okay? That will lead you with plenty of deals. If you do one of these things, this will be helpful. What you did not see in here is me talk about going to like PaperStack, or I don't even want to mention other names of other listing websites and buying on there. That is, you're gonna get pissed off at that, because here's the thing. Lazy investors, they look at platforms and that's all that they make offers on. And they get so used to making offers from the Granite or the others out, the Lutetians or other companies that used to offer tapes, they don't build any marketing skills. So when those streams dry up, they're sitting there like a fish in the middle of the desert, flopping like a dead fish. Like, there's nothing, there's no deals, no deals. If you know how to market and find water, you'll find plenty of deep holes and honey holes to fish in to find deals out there. That's why we're so big on the targeting asset managers. Remember, I didn't even mention about calling asset managers. I know most of you don't have the time during the day to do that. You might hire a VA to do that, but right now it's about that smart marketing, delegation, or giving stuff to a VA to do it for you. Okay, other activities, obviously, IMN.org has different special servicing debt conferences. They will list the previous attendees, like the job title and the company. That's good to go to and search out there. You could even sponsor. I wouldn't sponsor IM, but there are other different events you can go to and sponsor, like MBA. Go hang out in the lobby or the bar of those events if it's near you. I know that Peter Pedro, who's one of our guys down in Miami, there was a IMN event taking place in Boca Raton, Florida, a few months back, and he went and dressed up, looked the part, went and hung out in the bar, and networked with people from the event, and that's where most of the networking gets done anyway, at the bar. But he was able to get into the lobby, and you can network with people in the lobby. You ain't got to go into the meeting sessions to do that. Okay, they're usually pretty good about letting you into that aspect of stuff. You can post to Bigger Pockets, Connected Investor. Those are a couple places you got to be careful because can be dumpster fires. But at least posting, connecting with other people is a good thing out there. Contacting other RMLOs if you like buying owner finance notes, looking at the RMLO originators and buying from them directly, or potentially buying their newly created stuff, or just look for note investors on LinkedIn and connect with those people. Kind of simple aspect in finding other note investors out there that might have stuff available. Going to like LinkedIn, Facebook groups, things like that, posting I buy notes, I buy mortgage notes, I buy performing, I buy non-performing. This does really well for a lot of folks. Is be one of the easiest things that you create an image in Canva and you use it over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. Going to REI groups, real estate investing associations, your local networking events, meetup stuff, maybe in speaking. If you've got a deal or two you're going to talk about, don't be afraid to get up in the haves and wants. If you got a deal you're pitching, get up and share. Okay. Most real estate investment clubs will let you get up and share. I've only seen a few that were like, oh, notes is too difficult for our group. I'm like, are you teaching stupid investors then? Because every real estate investment club should have somebody that's focused on the note side. Okay. I knew a couple old guys that we post stuff in newspaper ads that they're buying notes. Maybe we get some stuff there. I don't necessarily think that works so well now because newspaper obviously is dying, but it might be something to think about in some of the different other areas for it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what even a newspaper ad would run these days. You know what I mean? Don't, and let me clarify this. The next thing is some people are like, well, what about mailing out to owner finance owners? People have originated a note and sending out a mail campaign to them. I wouldn't waste your time. This is a total waste of time. Okay. Now there are people out there who will say, hey, would you like to buy a list of people that have originated a note? And you could buy them. Look, if somebody's originating an owner finance note, most of the time it's because they couldn't sell the house traditionally or they're trying to buy in terms. And what I have found is so many people screw up on the origination side when it comes to creating a note that the note is sellable, but it's not sellable for what they need to clear on the deal. So I stopped wasting my time targeting one investor who might have one owner finance notes long ago. Okay. Many, many years, over a decade ago. It's just not worth the time and the direct mail piece. It's expensive and it's stupid, low returns, low results. It's not effective. I like going to the banks and getting a list or going to the big sources and having a list of 500, 300, 250, 10, 20 sent to me on a monthly basis. That makes much more sense to me than killing trees. Okay. But taking action today, here's the thing. One thing you can do right now is look at all of your LinkedIn profiles. Do you have note investors somewhere or real estate investors somewhere on your profile? Not your main job profile. If you do have a real estate investor on there, great, put maybe real estate and note investor. The reason if you put note investor down, you'll start getting people that see that and start reaching out to you. Okay. And start connecting. If you do a search for note investors, last time we searched, there's like over 322,000 profiles of people say they're a note investor. Okay. Are you a member of any meetup group or real estate club? Or is there any, I would reach out to the president of that club and say, hey, do you have anybody folks on just notes? Do you have a special interest group? Some of these bigger groups across the country will have a special group of just note investors. Okay. I would also go to like Fanac or Boston Note Company or a few others that will buy owner finance notes and see what kind of website they use and recreate their submission form. Why would I do that? It says if I get somebody has an owner finance note, instead of me asking all the questions, I can, hey, go fill out this form, send me a copy of your mortgage. Now I have all their information. I can have a VA or myself go over to these other websites and bid it there to see if I can't broker it and make some money in between. Okay. Simple to do. And you'd be surprised how many people don't do that. And you don't need any money to broker an owner finance notes. Just make sure you're getting it at the right price. Okay. Set up keyword searches like note investing, note buying, that kind of stuff on some different social websites. If you've got a warm market, a warm email database, send out an email to your warm database. Say, hey, if you guys are, any real estate investors, I'm also a real estate investor. I'd love to connect with them. I'm also an active note buyer. If anybody, is looking to own or finance their house, I'd love to talk with them. Okay. questions about those things. I know I hit you hard and heavy tonight on those actions. And you can always book a call with me, talkwithscottcarson.com. That's my direct email. So let's do this. Let's go back one more time. I'm going to take it back, and we'll just do a quick little recap on some things that you guys can do. All right, there you go. There's basically week 2 is all about the finding. Okay. I know I covered this pretty fast, but these are things that you could start doing now. I'm a note investor. Even if you are working somewhere else, hey, I'm looking for notes for my own portfolio. Okay. I'm looking for notes in these 3 states, these 2 states. Okay. Go look for note groups on Facebook, note groups on LinkedIn, and just start reaching out to them and posting, hey, this is what I'm looking for, knowing what you want to look. Okay. Get in the habits. And part of this is, like I said, your executive summary will often cover a little bit of this, and this helps you come up with what your buy box is. And then activities, like I said, reaching out to asset managers on a daily basis, pretty simple to do. LinkedIn makes it pretty easy. Emailing asset managers once to twice per month. Sending an email out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, not on a Monday or a Friday. And then resending the email 48 hours to the list that didn't open the list. And then a third email to the list that didn't open the first or second one. This is why we like Keep, because it's very easy for me to send an email out to those that didn't open the first one the second time around. Okay. And here's the thing. If you send an email, you're probably going to get a 10 to 15% open rate the first time. If you send it to those that didn't open, you're probably going to get a 6 to 8% open rate. But if you never send a second email to those, you're still sticking at 10 to 15. In this way, if you do it 3 times and do it once a month, you're going to grow your open rates to 30, 40% with asset managers and even your warm market too. Okay. Tracking the AOMs. This is something to do with the county. We once tracked all the different assignment of mortgages filed in Harris County and Orange County, Florida. So Harris County, Texas is Houston. Orange County is Orlando, 2 of the bigger markets we were buying in a lot of times. In Houston, it was literally 15 or just under 16,000 unique grantees. There were some that were repeat, but it was a lot of LLCs. Well, guess what? We gave that list to our VA. It pulled up a list of IRA investors and some of them, but it also gave a list of other note investors. In Orange County, it was just about the same amount. It was over 10,000 plus unique there. And you can hire your title company to pull that list for you. It might be easier versus the using Netra Online and the basic county appraisal or the county clerk. And they can often download into Excel, makes it a little bit cleaner for you. You might have to pay somebody to do that, but it's worth doing it once or twice in your area if you're in an active market that sees a lot of deals. Okay. And I always like doing the whole reverse engineering. If I see somebody selling a note, go see who they bought it from and see who they bought it then from. So now you have 2 or 3 sources versus just one. Looking at some of the different industry events, people that are selling on there, or people that have similar job titles, or capital markets, or secondary marketing managers. And some of these industry events are good to go to. Contacting licensed loan originators or note investors on LinkedIn is easy to do, an easy conversation to have. And then posting, hey, I buy notes. I'm looking for notes. And of course, you all should be a member of your local real estate club. If it's not a group that's just focused solely on the president or the founders of it. There are a few groups that are like that, where the group is just solely 100% focused on what the person running the group is. Like there's a group in San Antonio that's like that. The group here in Austin is kind of like that, the bigger groups. So those are not ideal for you. Find a different group that's more open, more flexible, providing a variety of different topics and education or networking opportunities for you. Okay. Like I said, take action today. Post note investor on your profile. Put it somewhere. Hey, I'm a note investor. I'm looking for deals. Start connecting with people. Like I said, if you haven't connected with me, make that a first thing you do. Just look for Scott Carson. You'll see my smiling face. Connect with me. I'll accept your connection if I can. It may not allow you to send a connection. I may have to be able just to follow you because I'm basically tapped out. But at least you'll be connected now to my network, and that's a good network to be a part of. Same thing. Look at your real estate clubs. Even on the cities that you don't live in, but cities you're going to be buying in, go see if they have a meetup group. Go see if they have a website for their local real estate club and join it and follow those or connect with them. those are still great ways to build networks of people in the markets you're buying in. Okay, like Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Florida. I mean, if those are some of your states, there's a lot of great real estate clubs in those areas to help you find opportunities. Okay, let me give you an example. If you go, let's just do this. This will be a good little thing for you guys to do. Let me see here. Let's go here. If you go to National RIA, and now this website used to be the National RIA group, National Real Estate Investors Association group out there that had all these groups that were big time investment clubs. Now it's kind of come back to, which is good. And you can often see on here, often find stuff in here. So find your local RIA. So you click on there, and these are the bigger groups. So you can see it used to be a whole lot more, but it's changed over time, obviously, because of COVID. Pittsburgh, Alamo, that's San Antonio, that's a good group here. Arizona, Asria is a pretty good one. The Austin RIA, maybe it's, I wonder who's running the Austin RIA. Oh, it might be a backup and run again. April Priester. Okay, good. Asria is a good one. Tuzo, Boston's a big one. Central Florida, that's the Orlando one. Central Oregon, I've spoken to that one. Chicago Creative, I've spoken there. Dallas RIA, I've spoken there before. Freedom First, Great Lakes. Great Lakes is 3 different there. Houston RIA, I've spoken there before. Just kind of looking here. Denver, I think that's owned by the the Twyfords, I think. Good people in Knoxville, LA RIA South, I've spoken there. Let's see here. Michigan RIA, that's a good group. Milwaukee, Mid Atlantic, I've spoken to those. I've spoken to Minnesota. New Orleans is a good group. Prosperity through Real Estate, spoken that one before. That's out of Houston, if I remember correctly. That's oh no, that's LA. It's not Robin. Robin's passed away, but her husband, Steve Love, is still running that. Let's see here. Las Vegas has got a good group. Here. Anything else I recognize? South Jersey, Sarasota. Triad, that's out of like Durham area, if I remember correctly. Greensboro. Yep. Spoken there. Anyway, Utah is also another group. But if you don't see a group here, then you always go to meetup.com and type in real estate group. Let me show you how to do that, because some people didn't know how to do that too. Make sure you can see that. Okay, so if we go to meetup.com. So what I like to do is pick somebody give me a city here in the United States that they're looking to invest in besides Austin, okay? So I'm going to type in the chat roll there. All right, let's just say, okay, Casey, Kansas City. Okay, cool. So let's go. We'll type in Kansas. And now that's the thing, Kansas City, Missouri. It's probably easier than you do Kansas City, Kansas. Then we're going to type in real estate in the search for anything. Hit the search. Now we have it pops up. Events or groups. Click on the groups. Okay, 25 miles. And you see Action Coach Real Estate Investing Meetup. And what I like to do is look at the members. Okay. That's going to know, like, so this, like, the Real Estate Investing Meetup, Kansas City, Missouri has 2,460 members. It's a public group. Okay. Bridge Real Estate Investing Meetup is 584. So that's worth going to. Let's click on here and see what pops up. And then one thing you got to look at is look at the upcoming events or the past events. Some of these groups are still going to be old and dead because they haven't rebirthed after COVID. But this group has an upcoming event May 7th. And June. So they got a couple planned here, which is good. So that would be a good one to go to. Investor Whiteboard Meetup. Boom. Go to it. Network with people. That's a great thing. And, it doesn't cost anything to join this group. Let's see. Make sure we do this. Join. Let's just do continue with Facebook. See, let's do this. All right. There's that. And they've got a message board. So that's good to go on and post something in the message board. Most of these will have discussion boards. There you go. Oh, I'll see. Yeah. So I maybe they don't like me using my message boards. They used to have a lot of these groups used to have email lists, like an email general terms, and so they don't. You can see the message board behind it, but they've banned me from using that. So all right, yep, great lead for me up there in Canada. BNI.com is another one you can go to if you're other areas. That's not going to be more real estate, but maybe professional. That's a great networking aspect if you're looking for local connections, which is one thing that I would do. When I That's one thing I kind of lacked here in Austin because I was traveling so much that I had much more of a nationwide network than I have local. So for a couple months, I went to BNI groups here just locally, went for breakfast, went for lunch, 3-4 times a week. I was going to BNI group for like 6 weeks straight, just making local connections and getting to know some people back again here in Austin. So anyway, that's what I have for you. You guys have any other questions, any comments, any concerns, any other questions I've not discussed? Anything you want to ask me? You want to type in the chat roll, or I can bring you online real fast or open it up there for you. We're here to help you guys. And so, yeah, we kept this right at 50 minutes for you. We covered a lot of stuff. It's up to you now to go put these things into action and start implementing them. But it's just a general reminder, little things you can do each day. Now, these things are going to help you build your network, and I've never known a increased network to harm anybody in any way. Okay. Increase social following, increase networking lists, stuff like that never is going to hurt you. It's always going to benefit you, but you just got to put it to work and connect with people and follow up. 80% of sales comes after the fifth contact. Touch base. Hey, here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm doing. Here's a deal that I've done. Just get in the habit of posting and reposting and posting and sharing what you're doing. That's all that you can do. I mean, that's part of the reason that we have our podcast. Part of the reason we do little short videos, episodes, stuff like this, while we share it everywhere. It's a net that we toss out, and you catch a whole lot more fish with a bigger net than just one single line. All right. So here's wishing to you guys to go out and fish, teaching you how to fish so I can feed you for a lifetime versus just giving you one fish to feed you for one meal. So, all right, everybody, that's all that I'm going to have for tonight. This will be uploaded. If you've taken the class, 3-day workshop, this will be added to those videos as well. So it's part of the replay for you. As always, guys, we do have our upcoming class. If you go to notebuyingfordummies.com, let me just share that with you guys for somebody, for me to ask. If you go to notebuyingfordummies.com, that should take you to our next live workshop that we have set for June sometime. Okay, come on. Why does it always take a little bit longer for? There we go. Oh, it does work. Let me just go this route. Notebuyingfordummies.com. Let's see here. Where's it at? Here we go. Boom. Oh, that's my, why is so weird? I gotta take a look at that. No, let's go to weclosenotes.com. And if you click on training and the virtual note buying workshop, it should take you there. And yeah, perfect. And our next workshop is the third weekend of June, I believe. So get signed up today for you guys. When you get signed up, you get the replays to the past workshop and you start learning, going on from there. Going well fishing. Hey, guess what? Good stuff there, John. Going well fishing. But you know what? It's okay to go salmon fishing too. I had somebody that was trying to land a whale of a deal the other day. I'm like, have you done any other? No, I'm trying to close this 360 portfolio first. I'm like, close one note. Why don't you put some money in your pocket first? You know what I mean?